Most people go into investing blind. They hear things like start early, let your money compound, or just invest and hold, but they have no real sense of how much they need to invest to hit their targets. Majority of us don't realize that there's an actual rule, a simple ratio, that helps you figure out how much you need to invest to hit your financial goals. This rule is called the 732 rule of compounding, and trust me, once you get this, your entire approach to investing your money is going to change. This rule helps you estimate how much of your future wealth will come from your own investments versus the returns on those investments. It also helps you figure out how much you should be investing today if you want to hit a specific investment goal. Once you understand this, you'll never look at investing the same way again. At its core, the 732 rule is a simple way to estimate how much of your investment growth will come from your own contributions versus your returns, and how much money you actually need to invest to reach your goal. It's not exactly the same as the 843 rule of compound or the rule of 72 that I've talked about in this channel, as these two rules don't tell you the amount you need to invest to reach your investment goals. Rather, they only show you how long your investments will grow. The 732 rule gives you a strategy to know the amount needed to reach a particular investment goal. Here's how it works. 7 represents the portion of your final target amount that will come from your initial investment. In other words, 70% of your future wealth will come from you. 3 is the portion that will come from the growth and returns over time with compounding. That's 30% of the compounded return from the total investments amount. 2 represents the ratio of your investment to the total amount you need, investment plus returns, in a single year. That is to say, if you want to achieve your financial goal in 1 year, your investment should be at least half, 50% of the target amount you're aiming for. And so, what does this actually mean in real numbers? Let's break it down further so it really clicks. Let's say your goal is to build a $100,000 investment portfolio over time. How much of that money needs to come from you, and how much can come from returns? Using the 732 rule, 70%, which is $70,000, needs to come from your direct investments, that is from your own pocket, and 30%, which is $30,000, will come from returns of your investment compounding. But if you were trying to build this portfolio in 1 year, then the ratio tells you that you would need to invest at least half of the total, $50,000, up front and let compounding do its work. But of course, most people aren't investing for just 1 year. They're investing for years or decades. And that's where the rule gets even more powerful. What's really crazy is that if you let your investments compound over 10, 20, or 30 years, this ratio actually flips. The longer you stay invested, the more compounding works in your favor. Instead of 70% of your money coming from your own contributions, eventually 70% or more could come from your returns alone. That's why people who start investing early don't need to invest as much later on. Their money is already working for them. Using the same example as earlier of $100,000 targeted investment, let's say you invest $10,000 today without additional investment and let it grow for 20 years at an average return of 8% per year. After 20 years, your investment will have grown to more than $46,000, and after 30 years, it will have grown to over $100,000. The wild part, only $10,000 of that is money you actually put in, and the remaining $90,000 came from compounding. If you see 20 or 30 years as a long time and opt for 10 years, then you will take the approach of additional contribution. Let's say you invest $5,000 today with an additional investment of $500 every month and let it grow for 10 years at an average return of 8% per year. After 10 years, your investment will have grown to over $100,000. And if you decide to stop contributing and let the money compound for the next 5 years, Then your $100,000 will grow to over $145,000. Only $60,000 of that is money you actually put in, and the remaining $35,000 came from compounding for the first 10 years with contribution, and over $45,000 of the remaining 5 years without contribution. That's the shift that happens when you stay invested long enough. Instead of you working for your money starts working for you. Most people don't realize this, but investing isn't just about putting money in and hoping for the best. If you actually want to hit your financial goals, you need a strategy, and the 732 rule gives you that strategy. It helps you answer key questions like, how much do I actually need to invest? How much will my returns contribute to my total wealth? How long will it take me to reach my goal? And most importantly, it helps you stay on track. All right, so now that you get the concept, how do you actually apply it? Here's a simple step-by-step approach. Step 1. Set your target investment. Decide how much money you want to accumulate in the future. Do you want $100,000, $1 million, or more? Let's say your goal is to have $500,000 for retirement. Step 2. Use the 732 rule to break it down. Use the rule to figure out how much of your goal needs to come from your own investments versus the returns you expect to get from the investment. 70%, or $350,000, will need to come from your own investments. 30%, or $150,000, will come from your returns over time. Keep in mind that this will depend on how long you intend to invest. If you are investing longer, then there is a high chance you will invest 30% of your money, and the remaining 70% will come from returns through compounding. Step 3. Plan your investments. Speaking of long-term investing, if you're looking to reach this goal over, say, 25 years, the 732 rule tells you that you don't need to come up with $350,000 overnight. Instead, you can break it into consistent contributions over time. For instance, if you invest $500 per month at a 10% return, you'd hit this goal in around 25 years, and if you invest $1,000 per month, you'd get there in 18 years. The key is to start as early as possible and be consistent, and compounding works in your favor. Most people completely misunderstand how compounding works, and they end up making one of these 3 mistakes. 1. Waiting too long to start investing. This is the biggest mistake of all. People think, I'll start investing when I make more money. But the longer you wait, the less time you give compounding to work. If you start investing in your 20s, you can invest less money and still retire rich. If you wait until your 40s or 50s, you'll have to invest way more to catch up. 2. Not investing enough. A lot of people think they can just throw in $50 here and there and expect to become wealthy. It doesn't work that way. The 732 rule tells you exactly how much of your future wealth needs to come from your own contributions. If you're not putting in enough, you won't hit your target, no matter how great your returns are. 3. Pulling money out too early. Compounding only works if you stay invested long enough. But a lot of people panic when the market dips and pull their money out. That's like planting a tree and then ripping it out of the ground before it can grow. If you want big results, you have to let your money sit and compound. At the end of the day, increasing your investment isn't about luck. It's about having a simple and manageable strategy. Whether it's the rule of 72, the 843 rule, or the 732 rule, all these rules are simple and powerful ways to understand how wealth is built over time through investing. The bottom line: compounding is the secret to wealth, but only if you give it time. So now that you know the rule, what are you going to do about it?